This video will show you how to replace the multifunction switch on a Chrysler Town Country. This will be mounted to the driver's side of your steering column. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. To do this, we're going to make our way safely underneath the steering column. So as we make our way underneath the steering column, we can see our steering column release lever. That's so you can make your adjustment up or down as necessary, as you know. Now we're looking for 3 pieces of hardware. You're going to find that you have a T20 torque screw inside of this port. As we move towards the steering wheel, you're going to find you have a Phillips head screw in this port, and you have a second Phillips head screw on the opposite side. I'm going to start with the torque screw first. There's our first screw. Let's continue on to the 2 Phillips head screws next. There's our next screw. As you can tell, it's considerably longer. Let's get our last screw over here. At this point, we can take hold of this lower housing. We'll carefully pull it down and away. We'll make our way up towards the top. So now you may find you have to pull down on the release lever. There we are. And we can remove that upper cover. That just slides right out of place. Now we've exposed our multifunction switch. To dislodge this, take hold of the steering wheel. Let's go ahead and turn that counterclockwise towards the left just a little bit here. Now there is one locking tab to dislodge this. To dislodge it, I like to use a small angled pick. You can use a flat blade screwdriver. There's a tab right in this area. Press it in, lift up, and that will help this slide out of place. Keep in mind you do still have an electrical connector that we have to disconnect. Now as I pivot this so we can have a look at the electrical connector, we're looking at what would be the top of the switch panel. Looking at the electrical connector, this is where the locking tab is. We're going to squeeze that in and pull this out of place. Of course, a quick inspection for corrosion anytime you disconnect an electrical connector. This looks good. Let's set that aside. And there it is, friend. Now it's time to install the brand new multifunction switch. When we go to get this in position, we're going to start with our electrical connector first. But while I have it out in the open, you can see where we do have our locking tab, which is what locks this into position into the steering column. We're going to have to slide this all the way down once we have the electrical connector in the proper placement. Now as far as this electrical connector, we'll make sure we have it in the proper orientation. We're aligning it, pressing it in. Listen for an audible click, a light tug confirming it's secure. Let's get this in position. So we'll just have a quick look at this. As I mentioned, we do have the locking tab on our multifunction switch. Right next to that, you will have an alignment tab. As we look at where this is going to be mounted, you can see exactly where the locking tab would go down towards, and then you also have the next area right next to it for that alignment tab. So with that said, let's go ahead and make sure this is properly aligned. We'll slide it all the way down into the fully locked position. Up nice and high. Line it up. Now, as you can tell, I'm not fully pressed down. I'm going to continue on. There we are. Let's rest our upper steering column cover in place. Let's start reattaching our lower steering column cover. I'm holding onto the upper cover. We'll take hold of that lower cover, start aligning it with the upper cover. We're just double checking along each side to confirm that it's properly seated. Now, assuming it is, go ahead and make your way underneath for our 3 mounting screws. As you remember, there's 2 long Phillips head screws that are closest to the steering wheel and 1 T20 screw closest towards the front of the steering column area. As far as installing these mounting screws, typically I like to start all of them in before tightening any of them, just in case we have to make any adjustments. Okay, they're all started in. Let's just make sure they're all nice and tight. Start with this one since I'm here already. Double check to make sure that's properly secured in place. Okay, friend, we finished our installation. The next thing you want to do is put the key in the on position and test the functionality. Perfect. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.